So welcome everyone to episode 6 of Overthinking Anxious. We have a special guest today. Her name is Melissa, and I'll have her introduce herself.
Yeah, we'll get her to introduce herself after I introduce myself because I'm the sidekick here.
See, we don't rehearse these things, and then thank goodness for editing.
There's no edit to be made.
Oh, right.
It's my turn. I'm Marty, happy to be here and especially happy to be in Melissa's company. Melissa's been a girl that I've been following on TikTok pretty much since I started on TikTok and since she started. And we kind of grew to know each other and created a distant friendship. But you just hit a milestone, Melissa. So I was like, we got to have Melissa on and come chat about the whole experience of weight loss, life change, everything. How's it going?
It's going. I guess every so often I just pop in on podcasts. It's like, hey, I'm back.
You do, exactly. That's true. You've been on mine on the Good Vibes show a couple times, which was my podcast previous to this one. This is more of an extension of the Good Vibes show with my new sidekick putties.
Yeah.
So Melissa, tell us about, we got some new listeners, so you're going to have to kind of tell your story a little bit again and introduce yourself and also bring us up to date to where you're at today. We're so excited for you. So.
Oh, thank you. Marty mentioned I'm from Ontario. I'm 31. As of March of 2020, I started a weight loss journey. Corona hit and I was just like, all right, let's go. Through, I guess, however many months, I've been training with a trainer, walking, started jogging and running, which not my favorite, but does the job. And just as of last week, I hit 100-pound weight loss. So that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
100 pounds. That's big. That's a milestone.
Yeah, and I was pushing for a while for that one, and I was like, the goal was to hit it by the end of the year and hit it early. So my trainer kicked it up to let's get to the goal gear, and it wasn't easy, but we did it.
So how have you felt since?
It's weird. The day it happened, I was crying, happy crying.
Of course.
But since then, I've kind of had to struggle to get the motivation because I've kind of hit this okay, well, this is what I've been going for. Even though I have a lot of my journey left, I have a good chunk of weight to still lose. I was always if I can get to this, then that's what I was striving for. And now I'm just kind of aimless. I haven't put a clear goal in mind. So it's every day I'm I don't want to do it. But I still keep going. I always say the moment you want to quit's the moment you got to keep going or push a little harder.
That's true. That's a great quote because I've been kind of confused with this whole journey. It's not easy, but it's true. It's at the hardest times that you got to persevere. You got to push through. So, yeah, I went walking today. I'm happy. And
that's perfect.
Yeah, I do quite a bit still. And I'm, in calorie deficit, but it's just all very, after a while, after a few weeks, I don't know, it just kind of gets, you kind of, that overweight person, I feel bad for myself syndrome kicks in. And then you're
yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, for sure. And Melissa, you mentioned that when you kind of hit your goal of, losing 100 pounds, you kind of lost the motivation. I totally get what you're feeling because one of my biggest goals was to get to under 200, and I hit that about a month ago now. And since then, I've been motivated, but definitely not as much as I was. And it's reflecting in the weight loss since. So what's kind of your strategy to find that motivation again and to find your new goal?
I'm still working on it because I did just hit the goal. It was last Tuesday. Tuesday, I think, or Wednesday. I don't remember. It was last week. And I'm still like, every time I go out to walk or whatever, I'm like, oh, I could just not. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I lost this weight already. So I'm like, oh, I don't have to do it. But then for me, the minute I start like being a little more lenient on little things is the moment I'm going to stop. Like I know myself that when I stop, I'm done. And I've lost weight before and I'm so scared to gain it back again because that's what I do. I lose weight and I gain it. I lose weight and I gain it. And then I was also beating myself up because I'm like, wow, if I hadn't let myself get so big, this 100-pound, I'd be at my goal and I'd be like looking the way I want to look and but I'm like, I'm not. I'm like a third of the way. Well, not a third, but you know what I mean? And so I told my trainer, don't let me quit. I've kind of put a little bit of a reward system. Petties will notice that I'm really big on rewarding myself in my Facebook group. I'm like, ooh, a book.
Yeah.
So I'm putting little like things, like if I want a new book, well, you get a book if you complete this many kilometers this week. I don't care what days you do it, but you get it done and you get that book.
Nice.
So it's just like, and it's the key for me is don't reward with food, because you want to work on that relationship with food, and that's hard, is the breaking 30 years of bad habits. And
so true.
Yeah.
Part of my weight loss problem, or how I got to my heaviest, was my relationship with food. I had so many struggles throughout my life that I was kind of like filling the voids of my life with food. I was like getting comfort from food and all that stuff. So I love that you understand that having a proper relationship with food is going to almost make or break your success in weight loss. And a lot of people tend to reward themselves with food, whether it's a cheat meal or a cheat day or a cheat weekend or whatever. But like when you do that, you set yourself up for failure.
No, it's true. A trick for me with the like cheat meal, I don't call it a cheat meal. I call it like my vacay meal or whatever, and I schedule it.
Okay.
So I know that that's the meal that I'm going to eat. Not what I want, because I'm not going to go buck wild, but
right.
It's when I know I can eat some of the stuff that I'm like, oh, I really like some pizza. So Saturday night, I'll have some pizza. So, but scheduling it for me, I have to be strict. I know a lot of people can be a little more lenient because I just know myself and I will sabotage. So even like this whole week, I'm just like, oh, I hit my goal. I don't have to walk that far. And I'm like, no, get walking.
I think that's great, because that's exactly what I've been doing. And that's the trap. That's the trap of like, well, okay, I'll just do 3.5 kilometers, or okay, I'm going to go out, but then I end up just going in the woods and it's not as much of a walk. It's more of just a stroll, getting some air, which is good, but you got to drive and push through. So it's definitely inspiring to hear you, at this point in your journey, talking this way. It's priming me up.
And I think we work so hard to get to those milestones. It's so scary to get back or to go backwards, because like you said it, Melissa, it's not your first time. It wasn't mine either. And like, it's so easy to go back. Yeah, I hit my milestone of being under 200, but like 7 or 8 more pounds and I could go like the opposite way. So I have to be careful, and I have to remember why I started in the first place and the direction that I want to go towards, and just continue on and take that as my motivation.
And one thing I'm trying to work on is having a little grace on myself, because today I think I ate a little bit over my calorie count, but I'm like, okay, but you also walked 2 extra kilometers and you trained harder and you were hungry. So I'm not going to go hungry. So it's a little great. Like I didn't account for what I burned, but I have to just, it's not like, you don't have to punish yourself because you ate. It's like, you have to eat to live.
Yeah.
What I ate over my calories were nutritious things for my body. I wasn't eating like chips and chocolate, which, I mean, sometimes I'm just like, oh, chocolate, but you know, like you just got to be nice to yourself. I am not very nice to myself, and that this has been a theme with me, and I'm hard on myself, and it's like, no, you got to have a little grace and remember that this is a life that I've changed my life, and you're not going to be perfect all the time.
Yep.
If you want to.
Do you guys think that it's easier or harder for women than men, or any different, to be on a weight loss journey? There's no point to the question. I'm just curious. I'd love to read a study on that. How do women deal with weight loss as opposed to how do men deal with weight loss?
I think that it is different in obvious ways. Like we have different hormones to deal with. And I think our bodies handle food and exercise differently as well. One of the biggest things as well is society, right? The way that society has told us that women should look a certain way or feel a certain way definitely impacts. But I think at the end of the day, it's all about how you perceive what society is telling you. For so long, I cared about that. I felt judged all the time. But it's when I stopped caring what society thought I should look like and started caring about what I need to be, how I need to feel, not necessarily look, but how I need to be healthier for me. Whatever that look is, I'm not sure yet. I'll know when I get there, but that's when it kind of changed for me. It's when I stopped thinking about what society was telling me. So I think it is different for women.
I also think weight comes off faster in men.
Yes.
Like a man can cut out like pop and they can walk a kilometer and weight will come off easier, I think. And women's weight will fluctuate depending on certain times of the month, or if you eat something salty, our body wants to keep weight on us.
Yeah.
Maybe not to the extreme, but like you're naturally going to want to hold on to more. So we have to work a little bit harder, I think. I mean, everybody has to work hard, don't get me wrong, but I think for a man to lose weight, it comes a little bit quicker.
So what about a sensitive man?
I think you still have the makeup of a man.
Damn. I was trying to get pity here.
Nice try, though.
Oh, good try. You're in the girls' club tonight. No.
Yeah.
I noticed. I'm just fine here. I enjoy it.
So, Melissa, you were saying that this is not your first time that you start a journey. And I can totally relate to that. What's different this time?
I changed my life this time. Any other time I've done it by like not eating or like limiting diet or like working out to the point of injury. Before it was always all or nothing. This time I am putting in cardio, and weight training. I'm drinking all the water. I have a diet that I can sustain. I can eat whatever I want as long as I'm in that deficit. Because when it's too strict, I was saying my inner teenager comes out and I want to rebel. Like, you can tell me I can't do something, I'll show you. I'll do like. So I'm working on mental health. So I'm also looking at why I react the way I react, or why I turn to food, or what is behind that makes me want to do that. And I'm fixing myself from the inside out. And so the work I'm doing on the inside is, I think, reflecting on the outside.
I think that was the key factor for me as well. I think every other time that I did weight loss, I focused on nutrition and exercise, but I never focused on my mental health. And now that I'm looking back, my mental health is why I got at the weight that I was. I wasn't fixing anything. It's almost as if I was like putting band-aids on the situation. And then as soon as times got too tough, or I didn't want to work out anymore, or I was feeling more depressed, I just went back to old habits, which was food, which is, how I got to the weight that I was at my heaviest. So in March, I started at the same time as you did. Like, it's almost thanking COVID, because like, I don't know if I would have started this journey the way that I did had it not been for the pandemic. But this time around, I really focused on my mental health. And like you're saying, like, okay, why do I have the behaviors that I'm having? Why do I treat food a certain way? Like, really understanding that it changed everything for me.
Because the physical stuff, it's not easy because you have to put in work and it's hard, but that's the easy part. Like, it's not super fun to do. I mean, I sent Paris one of my workouts. It's not fun to do. It doesn't look fun, right? Like, it looks awful.
No, I like almost vomited for you and I wasn't even doing the workout.
It's like that part, but I can do it. Like, you're just like, you tell me to do 100 squats, I'll do it. I don't want to, but I will. But like we said, the relationship with food, or even finding the confidence, or the finding that like I'm worth doing this for me. Like, it's worth it. And like I say, this year was my worst and best year, because it was hard for me to say, wow, this year was great when, you know, the whole world was falling apart. But
Yeah.
I actually just like took care of myself, and I decided I was worth it. And before, I didn't think I was worth it. So it's like, yeah, it's crazy. And I just like look at life this time last year and I'm like, I don't recognize that person.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. It's weird. I'm getting emotional. But
No,
anyway.
it's very awesome, actually. Self-worth. It's all about self-worth. And once that kicks in, you start seeing the good, and the changes come. And then, like you say, you look back and it's like, wow, wasn't that a good place? You know?
Oh yeah, I wasn't. And like the weight loss is fine. I still am like, okay, I don't see it. Like, I'm hard on myself, but I'm more proud of like the other changes. And I go outside now, which is like a big shock to my family.
That's awesome. How is your family in this whole journey with you? Like, how have they kind of adapted or played out with you?
Oh, they're good. I think they're really proud. I mean, they've said they are, so they are. Shouldn't say they think. Um, my dad is happy that I'm finally happy, and he's like, "You're doing well," and I think they always worry about me, so that's nice. And I started like doing stuff with them because they're like my bubble for COVID, so that's kind of neat. We've gotten to hang out, and we all go for family hikes. Like Thanksgiving, we went on a hike together. It
Awesome.
was the worst trail ever, but but it was
Really?
good. But it's good that it's getting my family to do stuff too, because a lot of us have weight issues.
Right.
So even like my dad's not like overweight or anything, but he's like, oh, I'm watching you do it and you're inspiring me to do it. So he's like drinking more water, and
Can you imagine? Huh?
yeah.
That's cool though.
I'm like, we can't get competitive with each other because we'll tend to do that. Because he'll be like, oh, how many steps you get? I'm like, you won't come near me, old man. I'm like, skating doesn't count. It's not the same. Anyway, but
He goes skating?
he refs hockey. So
Oh, cool.
yeah.
That's very cool.
Which is funny. Him and one of my sisters ref hockey, and I don't even know how to skate. So I'm a bad Canadian.
That's good.
Yeah.
I had a question and it like went away. A split second and it was like gone.
You're catching Marty's squirrel moments.
I've always had squirrel moments. Like, I have them all the time. It's crazy.
So I go out and I feed the squirrels out in the woods here, and I never see the squirrels ever. And Paris went hiking the other day or for a walk, whatever, in the woods, and then she seen a squirrel, so she sent me a picture. She's like, that's what they look like.
Yeah, I took a video and everything.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, the only squirrels that Marty sees are his squirrel moments.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is there any?
Oh yeah, I remember.
Okay.
So we talked about like your family support. And I know one of the things that I've struggled with is not just like my family's been great, but I've had to reevaluate some of the relationships that I had in my life. So how has it been for you with some of your relationships, whether it's with friends or coworkers, through your lifestyle change that you've done?
I've had to change a lot of relationships. There's a lot of people that I thought were forever people in my life that are not anymore.
Yeah.
And that's been challenging, but it's for the best. By focusing on myself and focusing on what I deserve and what I should and should not accept in people, I've realized that a lot of people in my life were not cheerleaders for me and liked that when I was down, or liked when I was not. I don't know. It kind of made, I feel like it made them feel better to see me not do well. So, and weren't happy. And it's not everybody. Like, I have some good support, but I just reevaluated who I allow close to me. And not everybody has to be like an inner circle friend, and you can have acquaintances. And if the people around you don't support you or don't care about you, there are others that will. So put your energy in fostering new relationships and new friendships. Like, I've made profound friendships of people that I've met through this pandemic, and some I haven't even met in person. I just do video chat or whatever. But I needed people at a time when I was like kind of feeling alone, and I found that. And had I just stayed with the people that I've always had around me, I might not have fostered those friendships, and I might have missed out on some great people. So
I don't know about you, but I felt guilty at first. I felt guilty by kind of like letting these people go or out of my life, even though I knew that's what I needed, because in certain ways, some of them were toxic and were encouraging the bad behaviors that got me to where I was, which was in a very miserable, unhappy state. But I still felt guilty. Like, I felt like I had to keep them in my life.
It's funny you guys talk that way. That must be a girl thing. Because this is the second time I hear you talk about this, Putties, how relationships have changed and it affected. And I'm just kind of thinking, and I'm thinking, like, other than the late night burgers with my boys, like, you know, after a gig or something, that might change, but it still wouldn't really change my relationship with them. I don't feel that it's changed my relationship with anyone. But again, like I say, I think that might be a girl thing. I hear you guys talk that way, and it's like, it seems a lot more deep than my process for that, you know? So it might be a girl thing. I don't know.
yeah. And I also know that I'm someone that's like a people pleaser. So, but when you said the guilt thing, I was like, ooh, hey there, head on the nail right there. Like, that was just like, I even was just having a moment this past weekend where I was like just writing out Christmas cards, and some of the people that aren't in my life anymore, I just was reflecting on, oh, this time of year we'd be doing this and this and this and this and this. And it kind of made me sad, but and like, oh, maybe I was a little bit too quick to, and then I would tell the story of what happened with these people, and they're like, no, no, you shouldn't be friends. And I was like, okay, at least I'm not like, I just didn't trust myself. But the guilt I get, because it's like, I've lost, like, or not lost, but I've now drifted from relationships of like 20 plus years. And it's just like, that's not good for me anymore.
We've obviously made bad decisions, you know, throughout our life to get to where we were, right? So I've lost trust in myself sometimes to make decisions. So to make big decisions like that, to cut someone out of your life, or to kind of like, you know, move on, I sometimes like, okay, am I making the right decision? Am I making a big mistake? Am I gonna regret this? Is this gonna come bite me in the ass like in a year, 5 years, or whatnot? So it's been very hard. And I know for me, I deal with abandonment issues. So I have a hard time letting go of people because I've always feared people letting go of me. So for me to make the decision to cut someone out of my life when I fear that on the reverse, it's hard.
No, it is hard. And it's, I don't know if you've had this, but I was like, oh, I've lost X, Y, and Z out of my life. I'm like, am I the common denominator? And then I turn it on myself that I'm like, maybe I'm the problem. And I mean, everybody has their faults. I'm sure I do have my faults in the ending of things, but also I just was treated badly. and what and it was pointed out to me that, oh no, they've treated you bad for years and you just put up with it. And I said, I didn't even notice it. And then when somebody says that, I was just like, oh, it was like the glass shattering moment. Have you seen How You Met Your Mother? But the shatter, and then you see it and you're just like, but it's a process. And like when you get rid of old and toxic, it makes room for new and really cool things.
I'm listening to you guys talking about all this subject, and something hit me actually while I was listening to you guys. And I think I lived exactly this process, but 5 years ago when my life changed. And then I went into a depression, and coming out of the depression, that's where, through that 3 years of depression, is where I cut a lot of ties, basically through that depression. And then coming out of the depression, I was kind of realigned with new beginnings, new friends, still a couple of my old friends who have always been there and will always be. But I really narrowed out my friend circle to kind of restart, and this was about 2 years ago when I kind of restarted throughout the journey. So I totally connect now to what you guys are saying. I just lived it at a different time.
We're just all or nothing, and we got to do it all at once. Because
right.
One change isn't enough. Let's just reboot the whole thing. Street cred.
Throughout this process, Melissa, what has been the hardest thing?
The hardest thing. It's all hard. No, it's all the mental game of it is the hardest, by far. It's like, in one hand, I know, okay, you can do it. On the other hand, I'm like, no, you can't do it. Mm-hmm. Or like, what's the point? Or wanting to keep doing it. It's not super fun to get up and go walk 5K in the -12. It's not fun.
No.
It's not fun doing burpees. It's not fun eating chicken and broccoli. Like, it's just not that fun. But then it's easy for me to focus on that not fun. But then I think about, I saw some beautiful sights because I took a chance and went hiking, and I'd never gone hiking. Like 31 years, I had never gone hiking. I was like, no way. Like, I'm not, like, that sounds awful.
Right.
I mean, some of them were awful. But it's just like, I had to get past the you can't do it to you can do it. And I'm still battling with it. Like, it's every aspect of my life, the self-doubt and the wanting to sabotage and like, you don't deserve this, but I do, and I can do it. I just lost 100 pounds. I can do it. And
that's
so,
amazing. That's amazing. Amazing.
I've never even said that out loud because I'm very like about it. And I posted about it, and I was just like, I'm going to take that down. I don't want that attention. I don't want it. But I'm like, no, I'm going to want to look back at that a year from now when I've hit my next milestone. So you got to just the mental game of it. And like, it's just a matter of, even if you don't want to do it, do it. Because you never feel worse after having gone out or done the workout. I always feel better. Mm-hmm. And I have to remember that going back can't be an option because I wasn't living life before, and now I have a life. As much as I don't, like, I sit at home and do nothing, but that's pandemic's fault. But
right.
But I even think, like, I wouldn't have even gone on a podcast. I wouldn't have posted on TikTok. I wouldn't have done any of this, and then I wouldn't have what I have now. You learn from everything that doesn't go your way. When I hurt my ankle this summer, it caused me to slow down and reflect that I was getting to be unhealthy in the, like, pushing my body too hard or not eating enough calories. And it was a reset. So, but then you got to get your mind back into it. But yeah.
Yeah. You were afraid. I remember we spoke a couple times during that time, and you were, Your biggest fear was to give up or was to stop, that it was going to pull you away from it.
Yeah, because if I know myself so well-ish, but I know that like if I stop, I'm done.
Yeah.
My trainer even said, I said to him that I feel like this is the point where I quit. Like this is where I hit whatever my goal was. And then I'm like, oh, I can do this. I can eat this. I can do this. And then I just quit. And he goes, why would you quit? That's stupid. I'm like, well, that's what I've done. He goes, that's the old you. And you have to remember that you're making a new you. And this person that I've become isn't going to quit. And also I have people that won't let me, like, so, which is good. And people that won't let me, that like, yes, I maybe haven't met in person, but are rooting me on and care about me and want me to succeed, which is a nice change because people in my everyday life I didn't get that support.
So social media has had an impact on your journey, like your motivation and your keeping going.
100%. I found a Facebook group when I first started, or a TikToker that had a Facebook group for weight loss. And from that, I made some like really good, like lifelong friends. And that group sort of stopped posting as much. So I started my own group. And I've met people from around the world. And I actually met one in person this summer. So that was kind of cool. And he's the best. And I talk to him all the time. And he's a great friend. And yeah, it's neat. And it's weird to be close to people that you've never met, but you feel like you know them or they know you and they're rooting you on.
And what's the name of the group so our listeners can...
Oh, Progress, Not Perfection.
Progress, not...
Perfection.
Perfection.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a good little support group and Paris is in it. And just everybody rooting each other on.
That's awesome.
And like, sometimes I'm like, I don't want to work out. I'm like, and that'll be the days when I don't want to work out or walk. Fun fact will be when I post on TikTok, because then I'm like, oh, accountability. I'm going to go out and post. So most days I'm like smiling, but I'm like, I don't want to do this. But then I'm like, okay, it's encouraging me. Maybe it's encouraging someone else. I don't know. And if one person gets encouraged, then it's worth it.
Exactly.
If I'm shy by nature and posting just like makes me want to throw up, but it's what it is.
There you.
I love how you keep it real though on your social media, whether it's on your Facebook group or on TikTok, because it's important for people to see it's not all rainbows and butterflies through this process. So for other people to hear that, we do struggle, we sometimes are not motivated, we don't want to do it, we want to eat bad. People need to hear that, because sometimes I feel that they feel alone, that they're the only ones that are struggling, but we're all struggling, but we just got to keep going. So I love that you post the struggles as well.
Thank you. Well, that's the thing. A lot of the time you'll see like people making weight loss looks so easy. Mm-hmm. It's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like some days are just downright hard. Even today, I was just like, I don't got this. I really just don't have it. And I was like, okay, come back to it in an hour to my workout. And I'm like, okay, nope, I don't got it. And I was going to message my trainer and be like, nope. And then at the end of the day, I was like, nope, you just got to do it. Just got to do it. And
exactly. Yeah. Just get it done. You feel so much better.
You'd beat yourself up for not doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
or if you don't beat yourself up every day that goes by, you're disconnecting more and more and you're going back to your old self.
Yeah.
And that's scary.
Damn
that
right.
is a scary place to go to, because
damn right.
I know like to get started was probably the hardest, because I think we've done so many things wrong to get to where we were at. And then like you feel overwhelmed with everything that you need to do to accomplish the weight loss and the new lifestyle. And you like, I know for me, it took me, when I realized that I needed to lose the weight, it took me a couple months to get started, because I was like, I have no idea where to start. there's so many people out there that are talking about different things, different diets, different, you know, pills or supplements or exercise, and like, who do you listen to? What's best for me? How am I going to be most successful? So I don't want to have to go back to the beginning. I just want to keep going.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't do it again. I'm like, this is my last go. Like, it's just, I mean, of course I won't give up, but it's like, this is like, I've come too far. Well, even I said 100, I'm like, I don't want to do this again. And like, if I gain more, then I'm like, I have to do even more. And it's just like, but you have to remember, you have to do what's best for you. What works for me might not work for you. I'm happy to answer what I've done, but it's like, it's not a one size fits all. So it's just like, and you also have to realize when something's not working for you, you got to switch it up. I don't know. It's weird because maybe my way of eating makes the weight go a little slower, but for me, I can sustain it. Or the walking is good for me, but some people can't walk, so maybe you got to swim, or you got to. And I know there's limitations because of COVID and such, but you just do what you can.
Yeah, just do what you can. Yeah. Exactly.
So in regards to nutrition, Melissa, I know you mentioned that you're doing calorie deficit, but can you go a little bit more in detail? Like, how do you set yourself up for the week, or do you?
Oh. Well, I know what I have to eat. And at this point, I kind of eat the same things. So I already have a sense of what calorie things are. I'm not quite as like, I'm going to measure this. I do measure, but I'm not like quite as strict as I was, because you get to know everything, right? And I eat like 5 different things. But I had to change my calories because I've lost weight. So it's like, I'm like, oh, sad. I miss those other calories.
It's an adjustment.
Yeah. But I mean, so you calculate what your deficit is and you fill your calories how you may. I try to do it obviously with healthier food, but like I said, if I want a slice of pizza, I'm going to do it. Now, will I regret that later in the day when I don't have as many calories? Probably. But I tried meal prep, but I'm not good at it. I'm not a good cook. I'm not a good cook. I'm not like organized with that, because I just find that part boring. Like, I find the kitchen boring. I'm just like, oh, just do it for me. And but I do plan, like, when I do my grocery shop, that like what I'm going to eat. But like I said, I'm boring and I eat the same thing. So.
When I first started calorie deficit, I was in a full panic mode for like a week. Pre like starting, I was in a full panic mode because I thought that I always thought that I enjoyed cooking and stuff myself, but I thought that I wouldn't enjoy cooking and pre-prepping and getting organized and all this. And I was like very, very upset and anxious and panicky for the week before. And Putties was going to help me. If it wouldn't have been for Putties in that moment, I would have never started calorie deficit, because just looking at the app made me panic and it made me confused. And it's not confusing. The app's not confusing. It's just when you're first learning something and it's just a panic, right? So anyways, when I first started, the weekend before I started doing my prep and everything, at the end of the weekend, I was like, this is the way. Like, I enjoy cooking, me, you know.
But I'll tell you, the weeks I do prep, I'm like happy at my past self, because I'm like, I don't have to cook. And I think I'll have to do prep when I go back to working in the office, because I know I'm not going to want to come home and cook whatever.
Right.
But because I'm working from home, I have the luxury of like cooking whenever I want.
Right. And it's an easy fix. You know, you're home, you can put it together, you know.
And I don't cook anything quite difficult. So it doesn't take a lot of work to put a chicken breast in the oven. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like I made Brussels sprouts tonight because I was being wild. The broccoli. So
that's funny.
You're being wild.
Did you know that my hometown is the capital of Brussels sprouts?
No, I did not know that.
Fun
That's
fact,
that is a fun fact.
right?
I'm a little jealous.
Capital of Brussels sprouts. That's a
There you
big
go.
that's a big honor.
Yeah, we
I
used to
know.
have a factory.
Oh,
Yeah, there used to be a factory, and like my grandmother used to work there in the fields.
but what do you factory with a Brussels sprout?
Well, you have to
Oh,
like
the
go pick,
packaging. Oh,
well, not the packaging, but I think
Oh.
it was like the processing plant, because like
Right.
the Brussels sprouts like come on a stick or whatever, right?
right. Okay. I was just thinking, I'm like, you just have the Brussels sprouts on a. Anyway, I'm being silly now. I'm sorry.
And this was like way back in the day.
Oh, okay, fair.
Yeah.
They
So
come on a stick. That was very French of you. They come on what, a stick?
They come on what? Like a stick?
A
Or
stick.
a stick, though?
Wait,
Yeah.
Oh,
Do they
goodness.
still grow Brussels sprouts in your hometown?
No, it's
No.
been like years and years. Like I'd have to like look it up just to see. I should be educated because I've said I've said this so often now that I'm from the capital of Brussels sprouts. But now we have cranberries.
Yeah.
that went south quickly.
Yeah, I did.
So, what is a piece of advice that you would give to someone who's looking to start their journey but have no idea where to begin?
Ooh.
I know. It's a tough one.
I would say start. Whether it doesn't have to be your forever plan, but go out and go for a walk or spend a day drinking more water or, be mindful of what you're eating or write it down. Just start. I always had the like, I'll start tomorrow. Oh, I'll start that on Monday. Oh, I'll start that on the first of the year. But that's not a concrete whatever. And I always say, don't make it one day, make it day one. And you'll learn as you go. And you can look up things and you don't have to have the most fancy equipment. You don't have to have designer workout clothes. Like I went out in sweatpants and like sweatshirt and I walked around the block the first day. Like really, it's that simple. Even my workout stuff now, I have an exercise ball, a yoga mat, and dumbbells. And that's all you need. But yeah, the advice would be just start. And then start researching and listen to your body. Try to drown out all the different opinions or like the fad diet, fad workouts. And like important is to get in that calorie deficit. But you can't do that until you know what you're eating or where you started. And weigh yourself just so you know where you started.
Yeah.
And take pictures of your before because that's where you'll see your progress. But yeah, really just start because tomorrow's not promised. And by investing in yourself and starting, you'll be giving yourself more and more tomorrows because you'll be healthier and physically and mentally.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that made sense, but
Made total sense.
okay.
100%.
Now I don't know if you noticed, I like almost chuckled when you said the word sweatpants. Now I'll leave it totally up to you, but you have a story that's pretty funny if you're willing to share.
I forgot about that.
I did.
Wait, which? Oh, okay, I remember which one. There's been a few embarrassing moments.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, whatever. I posted it on the internet.
Exactly. It's on social media. So.
Well, fun fact, I'm really cheap. So start that preface with that.
Okay.
I put on a pair of pants that were a little bit too big. And by a little bit, I mean, they be falling. And, a normal person would be like, maybe I need new pants or, put a different pair. Oh, no. I was like, you know what? I'll just tie them up. They'll be fine. Bet you can see where that's going. Well, they were fine and dandy until I got to this one spot and I'm like, oh, gonna jog. Look at me jog. I'm so clever. And and I also secured them with a hair tie. So it wasn't like an engineer's guide to like how to hold the pants up. A belt it was not.
A hair tie.
Yeah, like full blown, and not even a good, like one of these weird elastic. Anyway, doesn't matter. A bad hair tie for securing your pants. So I was like, I'm gonna run, Barbara. I don't see a soul my whole workout. I come across a group of like police and worker people, and I was like, ooh, cute boys. I haven't seen a boy in months. Like, oh, I'm all impressive running and I'm feeling all good about myself. Well, my pants fell down. And, it happened to be laundry day, so I wasn't wearing my nicest undergarment. And you were like, oh, they didn't see. Oh, they saw. Due to another encounter I had with them several weeks later. So I pull my pants up and try to run away with my dignity. So I go down another path. Because I'm like, get away from the group of men.
Get away from the police.
Yeah. And I go down this path, and I'm just like, oh, that just happened. So then, I then came across a snake, which happens to be my biggest fear. So then I ran away from the snake and threw up. Safe to say, I went and bought new pants after work that day.
What a story.
Yeah. I call that living life on hard mode.
Just a little bit.
Like, and then someone's like, you threw up because your pants fell? I'm like, no. I mean, inside I died a little, but
yeah.
But I was like, it happens. And then throwing up. I was like, cool.
Like how far did they fall?
Oh, they'd be on the ground.
Okay. So I guess you weren't feeling so cheap after that, eh?
I bought 6 pairs of pants. In various sizes.
That's hilarious.
And those were promptly thrown into the bin.
And better hair ties.
I mean, they work in my hair.
Oh, wow.
I forgot. I'd blocked that out. Thanks.
You blocked it out.
You're welcome.
Yeah. You got PTSD now.
Could have been worse. I mean, it was pretty bad.
I'm like trying to think like what could be worse, like your underwear fall down at the same time.
Yeah, that could have been worse.
And you could have fallen
That
as your
happened.
pants were falling. You could have tripped in your pants.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm so happy I remembered that.
It's a quick moment. It happens fast. You think it's the end of the world, but
Yeah, I wasn't pleased for a little bit, but I was more upset about the snake than the pants. Because I was just like, whatever. I mean, it is what I've embarrassed myself plenty.
right. And then the snake.
I don't like snakes. I don't like them. They're gross.
You really seem at a good place, and it's fun to have a chat with you, and it's fun to laugh, and it's fun to imagine what our conversation will be in 1 year from now.
Yeah.
Because I really feel like you're going to be in it for the long haul, and that you're going to inspire many on the way. I knew it first time I seen you.
Oh, thank you. Can't take a compliment. Thank you.
The quiet, shy, timid Melissa that one step at a time is kind of breaking out of her shell and gaining so many more followers and people that are actually seeing what you're doing and accomplishing. That must be a good feeling.
Yeah, it's neat. And it's kind of cool that people are invested in it and rooting me on. And it was I've never really had people behind, I guess my family's supportive and all that, but I've never had people that just are rooting me on, and it's kind of nice.
For sure.
So,
Yeah, no, it's really positive, and it's going to be, like I say, going to be fun to follow you here into the second year, I guess, of your journey. And just knowing that I've been there kind of from the get-go that you started. We've been on this journey, and that I've been following you, getting inspiration from you often, texting, checking in on each other, having conversations, coming on my podcast. Like, this next year is going to be exciting to see where we end up. We both end up. We all end up.
Yeah.
All three of us.
Well, because I think Marty and I started posting around the same time. And I actually I don't know if you remember this, but I guess I posted a video about me being down, and Marty sent me a video of him singing a song. It was Say Something, and you sent it to me, and you said, I just wanted you to listen to this. And it made me cry, but it was nice. It was like, oh, someone's just reaching out. And then Marty said, if you ever want to talk. And then, but you were like one of the first on TikTok to reach out.
Yeah, nice.
And I always remembered that, you playing that video or sending me that video. And it was just like, oh, it's what I needed at that moment. It was neat.
Right. I love those moments. I love when somebody sends me something too, or that I see something that it's like, man, I needed that like right now.
Yeah. Well, even TikTok, now he's like one of my best friends. I asked for music suggestions, and he sent me a link to his playlist or whatever. Okay. And that sparked a friendship where we talk every day. And I was just like, and how cool is that?
That's very cool.
And he's like my go-to guy now. Like it's neat. And even the girl I started the Facebook group with, we talked multiple times a day, every single day. And she's like probably one of my best friends in the whole world. It's just neat.
Awesome.
And it's just like that, somebody reaching out or that moment. Yeah. I don't know. It's cool. Yeah. And then one day, hopefully we all will be able to travel and meet,
Yeah. Like all meet at one place. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Melissa, you'll have to let us know like what your next goal is, and when you achieve that goal, we'll have you again.
No? Yeah, I'm working on the goals now. Yeah. So I do know that my next not big goal, but it's bigger. I want to lose 50 more pounds by July.
Okay.
And I picked July because if COVID willing, I'm supposed to go to Scotland and England for a wedding. And it's like another thing to it's attainable.
Right.
And now if that doesn't happen, I'm going to use my best friend's wedding as another benchmark time. I like something that you can look forward to.
Right.
I don't know if that it's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it actually, it's funny because it's giving me the idea of possibly starting to set small goals, reset small goals to reach and make that my challenge. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. All right. In the next 5 weeks, this is what I want to do, And
well, I even do daily goals. So I do daily, weekly, monthly, and then my long-term goals. So every morning I write down what I'm going to accomplish that day. And one of them's fitness. One of them's drink my water. And then one's something to do around the house. And one thing is self-care or fun or whatever. No prize for that. That's just perks of getting through the day. And then for the week I set goal, and Perry's will know I try and do monthly goals. And I even ask my friends, whatever. And that I'll give myself something that I want or saving up for, or so one, I don't spend frivolously because Amazon makes that easy. And right. Two, and it's something that it feels like you've worked towards something or you've earned something as opposed to instant gratification. I don't know. So it's just another growing moment instead of I could just go and get this now. But no, earn it.
Right. So since you're talking about your group and posting and all this, we should just cover your social medias right now. Cause I know that, like I say, you're quite active on pretty much on a daily basis, on your TikTok for sure. And you have your Facebook group, which I'm going to have to join.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So my Facebook group is Progress Not Perfection. And it's just anybody that wants to join, whether you want to lose weight or you just want to be healthier, and everybody's at different aspects in their life or their journey. And I try to post there. I get distracted, but TikTok, I'm Melissa MC11.
Yeah, Melissa MC11, and she posts videos, and you can follow her journey there. You could go through all her videos from pretty much March on to now.
Oh gosh, yeah. I watched an old one and I just was like, oh, cringe. But
Mm.
I don't edit, so if you want fancy edits, I'm not it.
Right. Yeah, well, Melissa, so proud of you. So happy that you came on and chit-chatted with us. And yeah, be a guest on our new endeavor. I mean, I couldn't have a new podcast without having Melissa on it because, you know, she's one of the OGs of my podcast world.
I was your first guest, I think.
You
on
were.
Your last one.
You were.
And you're the first guest on this one.
You are.
Oh, look at that.
So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
And have a good night. And we'll wrap up after. We'll do our closing thing after.
It's going to take 10 times probably. And then I'm going to mess up and then laugh. And then Marty's going to be like, oh, it's okay. I'll edit it out. And then it's going to make it in. And,
the Brussels sprouts on a stick. That's my favorite part. They're on a stick or something.
We're going to keep that for sure.
Okay. Well, have fun finishing that.
All right. Thanks again. And once you're gone, we'll finish it up. Not because we don't want you there.
Kick rocks and get lost. I get it. You use me for your podcast and then throw me away.
Use and abuse.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. All right. Anyway,
it's all done in love.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
That was a great conversation with Melissa. I'm so happy for her. I'm so excited to see what's coming for Melissa in the next year. Like, she's such an inspiration, and she's been an inspiration since the start of my journey back in March of 2020. So what a great convo.
Yeah, it was really good. And I want to thank you, Marty, because if it wasn't for you, I don't know if I would have met Melissa. You introduced her to me, and following her through her journey has been so inspirational. She keeps it real all the time. She talks about the good things and the bad things, and that's what we all need. So it's been amazing to follow her on her journey, but also it gives me motivation on mine.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. You're a sweetheart, Melissa.
Yes, she is.
Yeah. Speaking of Melissa's, we got another email. So
did we now?
Yeah. So before we close up the show, I'd like to go through. Well, we actually got 2 emails today. So thank you so much for sending an email.
Now, I haven't seen those emails that you're talking about. However, I can see the look on your face, and I don't think that it's good for me.
Well, this one's from Melissa. She says, best lighter joke ever.
Yes. Another supporter of my corny jokes.
The Zippo lighter.
Yes.
She said, I loved it. Great episode in general. I love these. Keep it up, guys. Thank you.
That's so nice. Thank you, Melissa.
Yes, thank you very much. And, well, I'm going to get into Catherine's email. Thanks for sending us an email, Catherine. She starts by saying WWPD. Ooh, is that a police department? I'm intrigued. No, it's not a police department. It's what would putties do? Remember a time when you were there as a peer, a confident motivator, a friend, an inspiration, someone to make me laugh, ponder ideas, ask questions? I think you are definitely all of those things and even more. I think it's important to work in a positive workplace and work to keep each other motivated to get through each day and get the job done. There is a lot of negative energy out there that can impact everyone and bring us down. I also think it's very important to let people around us know how much we appreciate them. Even all the small things can make someone's day. It's free to be kind and not take advantage of people that matter most. I've learned sometimes friendships don't work out because they are toxic, and that is okay. Sometimes acceptance of things is easier said than done. Anxiety can be caused by a number of things. For some people, it's fed by what we cannot control. Sometimes it's something small, like the way the dishes go back in the cupboard, the way the laundry is folded and put away, or maybe driving a vehicle instead of being a passenger because it makes that person feel safe and in control. A lot of great points in this podcast so far. I can't tell you how much I have learned this year on specifically self-care because I was numb before. I felt distant, isolated, and became someone that had no idea who I was. There is no shame in asking for help, talking with a therapist, and working through things you never thought you could do. I really appreciate a guy and a girl doing this podcast. I think it helps break a stigma. Keep the jokes coming, putties. WWPD from Kat.
Thank you so much, Catherine. It means a lot for you to take the time to email us. And I remember the times that we had when we worked together, and we've had a lot of great conversations, and I'm glad that you've been able to reflect and kind of like find your place and be happy, because you deserve nothing but that. So thank you again so much.
Yeah, thanks so much. And it's clear that you guys have had some opportunities to talk. And it's clear, Kat, that you share the same opinion in putties than I do. I don't know. There's something about that wisdom. Gets through to people.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that as well, Marty. So just to give you some insight there, Marty. So the WWPD, she always said, I'm always going to think, what would Paris do in this situation? That's where it came from.
That's very cool.
Yeah, that's sweet.
So you want to wrap up the show?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
If you think this is a podcast that would suit some of your friends or anybody, please share it. Free to share, free to listen to. And all we want is to reach out to as many people as possible. So help us, in that campaign.
Sorry, you said it all. I'm like, wait, what am I supposed to say?
Yeah, I'd say you could just cover the social media quickly again. Just say like, yeah, totally, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, absolutely. So follow us on Twitter, Instagram. We have a Facebook page as well, Overthinking and Anxious. And as mentioned before, please send us an email at overthinkinganxious@gmail.com. And you can also find us on TikTok, same username.
Yeah, so if you have a little bit of love to spare, please share it along with your loved ones, with somebody on the street, a random stranger, no matter what. If you can help somebody just a little bit each day, it makes humanity that much better. So take care, everybody.
Until next time.
And much love.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
All right, that was a little much there.